The singing of migratory birds echoed in desert. The gigantic tree could feel that the morning has just come. It was a little bit noisy way to start a day, but it became a daily routine in the desert. Let's provide some water for them. It was the time to act on what the gigantic tree had been planning for the last 3 days. He came up with an idea to make a small spring just about 500 meters away from him. There is an area where there are some layers of rocks ranging from the surface of the ground to the groundwater vein. If I make a small hole and drill through it to make a path, water will be naturally pumped up. The gigantic tree controlled the tip of his root with his skillful movement to make a hole in the layers of hard rocks. The work was done much earlier than he expected. Water gushed out in the desert, and the small spring made its appearance. Migratory birds were extremely happy, thinking that it was a miracle at first. However, a little while later, they realized that it was what the gigantic tree had done for them. The gigantic tree didn't mention anything to the migratory birds. If the massive tree could just say, "I did it for all of you," the migratory birds could have expressed their gratitude with words. However, the gigantic tree never said a word. Migratory birds discussed how they should express their appreciation for what the gigantic tree had done for them. On the next day, migratory birds divided into 4 groups and flew away in different directions. 1 week later, they all returned. Migratory birds had fruits, nuts, and grass in their beaks. Some of them even had fish. The items they brought back were laid in a place that was a short distance away from the spring. Only fish were released in the spring. Migratory birds took a rest for a couple of days to restore their energies. Then they flew away again. Eventually, the surroundings of the spring were filled with a lot of green. The nature was the best environment to maintain water. It helped the spring expand its size. The gigantic tree didn't know how to express his feeling. Even though he didn't tell the migratory birds any reasons why he made the spring, they turned the spring into the oasis. The gigantic tree did it for the migratory birds. The migratory birds did it for the gigantic tree. No words were exchanged between them. Instead, they decided to take some action because they cared for each other. As a result, it created the oasis in the middle of the desert. It was the moment that a paradise emerged in the world of powerful beings. It was not strength that created the paradise. It was because they cared for others. The place became rich in nature. Strength is not what it's all about in this world. The gigantic tree looked up to the sky above and gave a thought. The singing of migratory birds was echoing in the oasis. They were playing such a beautiful melody with their singing voices. It reminded everyone of their peaceful home. Migratory birds flew away in 4 different directions again today in order to make the oasis even greener and richer. 5 days has passed since the gigantic tree saw off the migratory birds. Then he saw a black dot in the east sky. There was no wind. It was not sandstorm. The gigantic tree had no idea what the black dot could be. As it came closer and closer, the black dot changed its shape into a massive black form. It started to send out the rumbling sound that made him feel that some terrible things could happen. The massive black form landed on the edge of the oasis. The very next moment, the part of the oasis turned back into desert. It was as if the oasis was being swallowed up by the sands. The oasis changed its color one after another. It was obvious that the massive black form was the cause of it. It was at night when the half of the oasis turned back into desert. Deep silence conquered all at that night. It seemed that the massive black form also needed some rest. The gigantic tree called them out to figure out the situation. I'd like to talk to a leader. Laughter came out from the massive black form. Their laugh sounded like a winner with ruthless heart was making fun of a loser. The gigantic tree heard a bud sound. The sound was as if it was cutting through the darkness. Then a big grasshopper showed up. What do you want? He didn't fail to keep a cautious eye on his surroundings. It seemed he was thinking to bite anything to death if he saw something making any movement. What did you guys do to the oasis? The grasshopper answered to his question with boredom. I don't know what to say. What all we do is just to eat, sleep and fly. The gigantic tree finally understood the situation. It was the grasshoppers. The grasshopper swarm ate up the green. They ate up half of the oasis in just one day. That oasis is mine, not yours. Relax. We will leave as soon as we find out that there's nothing left to eat. The grasshopper answered in a way that he was playing innocent. It made the gigantic tree furious. I told you to leave here at once. The oasis is a precious place for me. The black group has been listening to their conversation. As soon as they heard the words of the gigantic tree, they burst into laughter. Is that all you want to say? Well, then, I'm going back to sleep because I'm tired. While the grasshopper was saying it, he licked his lips in the side of the huge thick leaves covering the gigantic tree.